Okay, so I made a video about what I thought about the Republicans. Now I'm making one about the Democrats. And first of all, I wanted to say I'm a slightly biased, and the main reason why that is because I'm a former liberal. I'm definitely more left leaning than right leaning, and all the Democrats are just a lot more likable. Not to mention the whole war thing really, makes me want to vote for them over the Republicans. That and the Fourth Amendment, which I hold a little bit more closer to my heart than the second. Um, but I'll try to be as unbiased as possible. Um, First of all, I really don't like Hillary Clinton. I swear, she just comes off to me like she wants to run a police state, and it just scares me. Like all these executive orders that Bush and Cheney or whatever just put in the law for him, now she's gonna have. I'm worried. Um, Second of all, let's see here. Edwards, I like Edwards, except that he thinks that government is the answer to the problem with poverty, and poverty is a huge issue. But I think it has more to do with inflation and the fact that government is already involved too much with our lives, and they're just getting all these handouts, and they become self-reliant and just want more help instead of trying to stand themselves up. Um, I think volunteering in private organizations and a balanced economy would probably, in a lower dollar, um, or less inflated dollar would help out the poor. And no IRS, no income tax. I mean, there's so many other things that I would think would benefit them. Because honestly, what what program has ever helped the poor? The only one I can think of is the ones during Roosevelt's time, and unfortunately, you point to that, and then you basically point to the time when socialist ideas were introduced to our country, and we stopped being a capitalist country, we started becoming a mixed capitalist country. So, while his programs did help the Depression, it didn't solve the Depression. The war did. But aside from that, I mean, everybody else's program, they never work, and then it just ends up hurting us more so than helping us. So I have to disagree with him on a lot of issues, on that whole poverty issue thing. But he's a likable guy, but not necessarily for me. Obama is definitely my favorite on the top tier. In fact, to give him credit, he's the guy that got me into politics. Ironically enough, I heard a speech of his, and I read it in Time magazine when I was in one of my classes about him, and it kind of got me interested. And I really liked what he had to say. I'm starting to like him a little bit less now because of the fact that he said that he won't commit to removing all troops from Iraq by the end of his first term, which kind of saddens me. He tries to be the anti-war candidate, but I am glad that recently he said that he does take nuclear weapons off the table when it comes to Iran, which is definitely good. And I definitely like the fact that while he is definitely liberal, he unlike others do try to reach across, and he's signed in he's made several legislation with several Republicans in Congress, and he's doing a good job. And people go, oh, he doesn't have enough experience, and I'd like to say that by the time 2008 comes along, he's going to have about as much experience in the Senate as Fred Thompson does. So, and his world experience, it helps him out so much more than the supposed experience Hillary Clinton has, which is just being First Lady. So yeah, of all the top tier, both Democratic and Republican, Obama's my favorite. For the lower tier, Bill Richardson, definitely a good guy. I think that he has the best record. I mean, being a previous ambassador and something else before that, and he's also governor of New Mexico, and he's made that state actually. He's made several reforms in that state, which are pretty good. So I'm proud to have him as a as a governor. But the chances of him winning are pretty low. But there's that one Republican, whatever his name is, the guy who has a progressive brain disease or whatever. He's going to be stepping down. So if we want to, Democrats want. Honestly, any Democrats or Republicans, they should really put him in the Senate because he's a good guy. He definitely makes some right decisions, and I think that his only flaw really is the fact that he's just not a good speaker. You listen to him speaking at debates, and he just kind of fumbles his words, and he always does that. Here's what I would do line, and I think it's kind of humorous. Chris Dodd, I really don't know too much about him, so I can't really comment too much. I haven't. I mean, he has a long record in the Senate, which is good, and he has some. I think he has a military background, which is good too. Um, and I've heard some bad things about him too, but I really can't really comment more than that. Joe Biden, he's been in the CFR for 30 years, and CFR is really the epitome of, in my opinion, of all the bad things that goes on with our, foreign policy. Um, he's definitely the most moderate, and if he were to win the primaries, he would definitely win because of the fact that, he doesn't seem as liberal as the other candidates. So Republicans are much more willing to vote for him, because he does speak well, and he makes good points on his ideas. I mean, for example, his bill that passed about splitting Iraq into 3 states. Like, I'm not opposed to that. I just don't think our government should impose it upon them. Their country should do it themselves. We shouldn't do it for them. Then we have Gravel, who I like a lot, but I just think he's a little too out there. And unfortunately, he's just not going to get any attention. People like to compare him to Kucinich and Ron Paul, and it was kind of unfair because, he does kind of come off as wacky. He's not. He's really smart, and he did a lot of great things for us when he was in the Senate, like helping to get rid of the draft. But he's always like on attack mode, and he's just so wild. And unfortunately, I just don't think that it's going to work. As a president, he's just not presidential. Dennis Kucinich, definitely the Democrat I would want in office, no doubt about it. If it were Dennis Kucinich and Ron Paul together would be my dream choice. But having one of the president and the other the VP, or hell, having them run against each other, my God, that would be even better because you pick the best between the two instead of the best between two evils. So I mean, I really hope to that he wins, but unfortunately, unlike Ron Paul, his campaign isn't really gaining any traction. He doesn't seem to really be going anywhere, which is unfortunate because he's definitely the best. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Democrats. If you haven't seen it, go check out my Republican one. Alright, thanks, bye.